So in this video, we're going to be talking about how important it is to be perpendicular in the bolo positions. So we could start from the crab ride, we can start from double pull, and when I finally get to my finish, maybe I was using the stomp bolo, I want to emphasize that when we're here, we have to maintain this perpendicular configuration, especially once I start to look to sink in my leg work. So I could be here, right? We're good, and boom, I sink in my twister hook. All my energy and attention is being focused in on keeping my opponent stacked, keeping their hips up high and above mine, making sure that I'm controlling their hip and exposing their back, but also maintaining that they're perpendicular to us. Because I could be doing all of the former, stacking their hips and exposing their back, but if they're parallel to us, that doesn't mean anything anymore. And in fact, they can actually start taking our back if I linger in that parallel orientation for too long. So the number one mistake I see beginners do as they're chasing these back take finishes is that they don't maintain this perpendicular orientation. They allow the person to slip their hip out, and now they're in what we call double bolo jeopardy, right? So I can bolo him, he can bolo me. And who wins this fight is who can get into the perpendicular orientation first. And we can do that by shrimping out, we can do that by physically lifting them up and above us, or doing both together. So we have to make sure that whenever we're entering these bolo finishes and I'm carjacking them or levitating them, that I'm completely perpendicular to my opponent. That means that their hip is facing to the side, adjacent to us, okay? I shouldn't be looking directly at my partner's hips or my opponent's hips. I should be making sure that their hip is on top of us, that I'm on the other side of my legs, and that their ability to expose my back, lift my hips, is far and away from them. Once I'm here, I'm safe to inject the twister hook here, and now I maintain that they're perpendicular throughout the whole motion of shrimping out and feeding my hook to the other side to take the back. This is super important from the crab ride, right? Because oftentimes when we're in the crab ride, it's very tempting to lift our hips and expose our back. So for example, maybe I'm using the crab ride X, I control the pants, maybe I'm trying to get my leg drag, and I'm trying to sink in my twister hook here. Notice how my hips are higher than theirs. So if I don't do a good job of lifting their hips, carjacking them on top of me, it's very easy for Danny to flip the script on me and actually take my back. So I need to make sure, guys, that once I'm here and I decide to use a twister hook or anything of this sort, that I'm making sure immediately that once that hook is synced in, that I'm winning the battle of perpendicularity, that I'm getting their hips on top of me, that I'm maintaining that their back is exposed in my direction, and that I'm not allowing them to turn away. Okay, if I feel that they're turning away, I immediately put my foot onto the floor, I shrimp out, I extend my leg, and I push their hip away. So this is the tug of war fight that we're dealing with. We're constantly shrimping out, we're constantly pushing their hip up and away, trying to find the angle to put our hook in and take the back.
I think one important detail here is how whenever Nick's attacking my back, his back is always hidden, right? And so with this theory, it makes it almost impossible, really impossible for me to take his back. So I think just watch one more time how his back is always away from me. I never can see his back at any moment. I don't ever have any back exposure on him, but he has it on me.
Okay. So anytime I use some sort of bolo finish, whether it's a stomp or a twister, I make sure that my back is away and far from my opponent. I don't want to do anything that compromises my position. So you'll never see me chase the back like this, right? With my back exposed, giving the twister hook, and now allowing my opponent to take my back. They can shrimp out and win the battle of perpendicularity. So try to always be wary of where you are. Okay, see? I'm losing the battle. So I need to make sure in order for me to win this battle, I get my feet to the floor, that I'm moving myself perpendicular to my opponent, and always making sure that I'm cutting around the corner before I finish.